Today we're going to show you how to install this new chin flame graphic for the Prowler. It's kind of a little bit of a tricky thing to install. That's why we're doing this video. There's some preparations that need to be made, just like for any other graphic. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. Let's move this out of the way. Now, whenever you're putting a graphic on, the surface preparation is paramount. You have to make sure that there are no waxes, there's no dirt particles or any kind of things on your paint. So now that our surface area is nice and clean and smooth and devoid of any particles or dirt or anything like that, we can go right into mounting the graphic. In order to do that, you're going to need to have a good solution. Now, what we like to do in the field is fill up a 32-ounce bottle of water and then just put a couple of drops of baby shampoo. Baby shampoo is a pure detergent. It's one of the reasons why it doesn't sting babies' eyes, and it is the kind of perfect chemical to create the slip that you need to mount a graphic. So you fill this bottle up, you put a couple of drops in, and you spray to the car to see if it sheets like this. If it beads up, you just need to put a little bit more soap in solution until it sheets like that. If you have a sheeted water solution, that's really perfect. You don't want to have it too soapy because your graphic won't stick when you want it to, and it'll slip all over the place, and you just be fighting with the chemical. So we're just going to go ahead and wet this whole surface, and we're going to pull the graphic and lay it on. This is a typographic where you're not going to use a transfer paper because you're in a compound curve. Right in here is where this graphic is going to be a little difficult to spread because of the shape of it. And what you're going to do is we're going to set it in the center and just kind of work it, see if we can get it set, and then stretch it to the sides to allow it to contour to this crazy shape we got here. We're basically taking a flat piece of material and molding it to the car. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. Now, an important thing is to have your hands very, very clean, because you can leave little fingerprints on a transparent graphic like that will just ruin the whole thing. So try not to touch the adhesive side much at all, really. What you do is kind of clinch it with your fingernail like so. This will keep any oils from your fingers from contaminating the adhesive, which will compromise the bond. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of basically place this on the car, position it. Now the graphic, this particular one, it's pretty much going to tell you where it goes. You want to center it like that. Okay. And now what we want to do is set this center section so that we can stretch to the sides, contour to the rest of the car. So let's go ahead and do that. With any graphic that you install, you're going to want to have the right tools. And we like to use a soft squeegee so it doesn't scratch the graphic, but there are going to be situations where you're going to need something a little tighter or a little stiffer to push the waters out and to get a good set. So we're just going to go ahead and try and get this set in the middle here. Now, if your solution is really good, this is going to set relatively quickly. So if it's too soapy, this is going to slosh around, and when you try to pull it, it's just going to pull the whole graphic. So if your solution is good, you can go ahead right into forming and setting the graphic. So I'm going to pull this like so. Kind of stretch it. And try to set the bond here. Now this is a vinyl graphic, so it's going to allow you to mold this and stretch this. And then where it's going to fight back, you can force the set with a heat gun, which will help you to kind of like keep the graphic where you want it. But we're going to go ahead and just kind of mold this around like this. Now this particular graphic has a lot of little spears and soft parts to it. So this is what you don't really want to fight with too much. This is going to allow you to set the graphic, and then you can use your heat gun to kind of dry those and set these little pieces. They're not going to be too happy about you squeegeeing them. They'll kind of crease. So all these little soft guys, we're just going to leave for the moment. You want to get the body set, and then we'll use the heat gun to kind of like set all these little guys. So now we'll go ahead and see if we can't get this main body in position and set. Once you've got your graphic pretty well stretched out and in position, you're going to want to remove some air bubbles and some water. So a helpful thing to do is just wet your graphic, because if you continuously squeegee a dry graphic, what's going to happen is you're going to scratch the surface. So what you want to do is, once you're nice and stretched out, kind of wet it down and use your soft squeegee to get all the rest of these guys out. Now that that's done, just remove your water. I like to, get rid of all the excess water on the car, so you don't really have, once this solution starts to dry, it leaves kind of like a slimy surface you get to fight with. So as you're applying the graphic, you want to kind of like get rid of all your extra water. Just get this out of your way. Okay. And now these little guys can be installed or set. These guys right here can be set with your heat gun. When a graphic slides around, it's telling you that it's not set, and there's a lot of water between the film and the paint. So if your graphic is put like that, then it's pretty well set, and you go ahead into doing all your little odds and ends. Now you don't want to take your heat gun or your hair dryer and spend too much time on your graphic, because it'll actually melt it and cause a burn. You just want to kind of get rid of the moisture on these little fine guys so that you can go in here and just kind of manually set it. Okay. After a few minutes, that will become more aggressively set to the paint. And while that's doing that, we're just going to go to the other side and finish installing the graphic. There's going to be a couple of things you're going to want to keep in mind to keep your graphic looking good and not having any problems with it, especially ones that have little spears like this. You want to wash it. You can wax this and wash it normally. However, when you're, toweling off your car, you have to just use a little caution in these areas, because once you take your towel and you coarse rub this, it's going to kind of roll up and it's just not going to survive. So you've just got to treat it with kid gloves in these areas. Waxing a graphic is very good because it keeps limits the UV fading of a graphic. So you put some, if you put a nice coat of wax, we like to use some McGuire's products, are really good. By applying wax to it, you're just going to protect the graphic from getting bleached out. Just use caution when you're cleaning it. And these particular graphics are made with probably the finest vinyls that you can buy. They boast 7 to 10 years exterior durability with no maintenance. So we only manufacture our graphics with these types of products so that you can have years and years of enjoyment with them.